It's Wednesday, October the 28th, and that means it's time for the next edition of my News Radar. So on Monday, the first story that I talked about was the Microsoft Surface Duo receiving a $200 price cut a little more than a month after release, which caused a lot of early adopters to feel like they had been slighted $200 because they just paid full price. And now a month and some change later, the price drops pretty precipitously. Now, in my video, I referenced a Twitter thread from Twitter user Brad Grow or Grokes, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Brad, we'll call him Brad, good guy Brad, trying to get reimbursed for that difference. Microsoft Store was telling him he needed to return the Surface Duo that he had and then purchase another one at the cheaper price. Now, obviously, that's a really strange solution to this problem. It blew up, it got a lot of traction. Now, the good news is that I'm seeing more and more people, in particular on Reddit, and tons of people actually in the comments of my video saying, hey, I reached out to Microsoft and I was able to get reimbursed. Even people who purchased the thing day one, September 10th, now all the way into late October, we're still getting reimbursed. That is awesome, fantastic news. That's what Microsoft should be doing. I have also seen people who bought from Best Buy getting reimbursed. So obviously I bought my Surface Duo, pre-ordered it, picked it up day one. So I got to thinking, well, let's see if I can get a reimbursement here. Now my situation is slightly different because I actually used a 10% off birthday coupon on my Surface Duo, which is why I'm not like super mad about what happens next, because I mean, I didn't pay the full price for it already. I wound up paying like $60 more than it would have been with no coupon at today's price, which is, I mean, $60, but it's not $200. At any rate, I headed over to bestbuy.com, pulled up their support chat, and basically told them the situation. You know, hey, loads of people are getting reimbursed who purchased it at the same time as me. Can I also get reimbursed because of this? What I was told was that since I had used my birthday 10% off coupon, I would not be eligible for a reimbursement. Now, granted, I'm not asking for the reimbursement and then the coupon on top of that, as if I had just waited until now and then bought the thing, although that coupon may be expired if I had have waited. What I was asking for was the $60 difference, $60 cheaper than me using the coupon when I bought it in early September. And of course, I was told, no, you can't do that. They said, that's the policy. So I said something basically to the effect of, because I used my coupon, I'm going to wind up paying $60 more than if I hadn't have used my coupon. It's the old reverse backwards coupon striking once again, to which he then said, well, you've got a 15-day policy to do price match or returns on this device, and you're past that. I said, well, look, man, I can show you, dozens of people online. This is a news story that's being talked about on the internet on major, websites where people are getting reimbursed. So you can't tell me that 15 days is the problem here because you're doing this for other people. He then doubled back to the coupon being the initial problem. Pressed as hard as I could. I got a little irritated, but I was not going to get any further, unfortunately. So I backed out of the chat, and unless I get some surprise email, I think I'm just not going to get that $60, which honestly, I don't really care. And quite frankly, as someone who's spent, 15 years of their life in retail customer service management roles, if this was something I was dealing with and the customer had done this, had used a coupon and done this, look, I would have made that right. It's $60. I spend thousands of dollars at Best Buy. I'm an Elite Plus member at Best Buy, so I spend money there. So if I see that and I'm like, $60, the potential future of thousands of dollars, $60, thousands of dollars, I probably would have just reimbursed the $60 and moved on. Maybe I'm crazy. At any rate, for most people that just bought the thing normally, it seems like more people are having success than are having failures. I've gotten a little bit unlucky with my circumstance, the old backwards coupon, making me pay more money. But it is great that so many people are getting reimbursed the $200 that frankly, they deserve. So let's move on to something I thought was actually really cool when I saw it this morning. So about a year ago, there's a phone launch called the Pro 1, and basically what this thing was a pretty normal looking candy bar style phone, but it would slide up, so if this phone's like this, it'd slide this way and reveal a full QWERTY keyboard for use on the other side. I think it would even angle itself up, kind of like a laptop would. And, look, this thing launched, didn't make a lot of waves, but if someone like me who, bought a BlackBerry Key 1 and enjoys having physical hardware keyboards, I thought this thing looked really cool, and I've been waiting to see what a sequel to this thing might look like. And today, not only did we get a look at what it might actually look like, we now know exactly what it will look like, and it's got some features that I did not expect to see. So the company that makes it, I guess it's pronounced FxTech. There's the letter F and then the X is in parentheses and then TECK. So I guess we're going to call it FxTech. But basically they have partnered with XDA, who is a website for developers and hackers and all sorts of great stuff. If you've ever rooted your phone before, you've probably been to xdadevelopers.com. So they partnered up with XDA, and the reason they did this is because Lineage OS is what this thing is going to run out of the box. So Lineage OS is basically XDA's flavor of Android. It's very security focused, and it's just a really solid OS. But here's where let's take it even a step further. You can boot into regular Android, Lineage OS, or Ubuntu's Touch OS. You can run straight up Ubuntu Linux with the touch interface on this thing. So let's get a quick look at what we're dealing with here. So this is the device itself, and you can see that full QWERTY. I mean, it's a full-on legit keyboard, not edge to edge as far as the bezels go. You've got a chin and you've got a forehead. It does actually appear to be angled there, which is pretty cool. You're going to be rocking a 5.99-inch AMOLED display, 64-key physical keyboard, a Snapdragon 835 chipset. So that is a pretty doggone old top-of-the-line chip. If I'm not mistaken, we're going back to like LG V30, or I believe the Pixel 3 runs the 835, which is someone who's been using their Pixel 3 a little bit lately. It's fine. It's not like the greatest thing in the world. I would have rather just seen like a Snapdragon 765 in there. It's actually really weird that it's the 835, and it's only a 3200 milliamp hour battery, which is not great, but it'll probably still get you through the day, considering that most phones back then didn't have very big batteries using the Snapdragon 835. So you'll probably get decent performance and probably pretty decent battery life as well. As far as the other specs goes, you're going to be dealing with up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than sufficient. 256 of UFS 2.1 storage, not the fastest storage you've ever seen either. On the rear, it's got a 12 megapixel Sony IMX363 primary sensor and a 5 megapixel secondary sensor. You're not seeing here what that secondary sensor is. There's an 8 megapixel fixed focus sensor for video calls and selfies on the front. The keyboard is where the fun is going to be, though. So you have 36 customizable shortcuts for quick access to all your favorite apps. One of my favorite things about the BlackBerry Key 1 was that on your home screen, you could just press and hold a key and launch different apps. So if I wanted to launch Twitter, I would hit T. If I wanted to launch Facebook or Instagram, F or I, or a certain contact, J, to bring up Jesse to text her, or press and hold J to bring up Jacob, my buddy that I was going to text maybe. That was really, really cool, and it for some reason, it was just, because it was tactile, it was physical, I could do it without looking, and that made that quick launch thing really, really nifty. Now, on a keyboard that has to be slit out, now you got to slide it, then press it. Is that quicker than just pressing an icon? Probably not. It does have an RGB LED notification light, which is something that I wish more phones still had. I don't know where you'd put them on these no bezel things anymore, maybe on the top or something, but I like the LED notification. There is a dedicated camera shutter button, which is an interesting feature on a phone that will probably not be a great photography phone, but it's there, which actually maybe I shouldn't roll that out, because if I'm not mistaken, the IMX363 is the same sensor that Google's been using with all of its Pixels since the Pixel 2. So who knows, maybe just port Gcam over here, which I am positive will be a thing, and maybe it'll be all right. So right now, $500 will get you the Pro1-X Super Early Bird 256 edition of the device on Indiegogo. Now, if you wait till retail, it's going to be $900, and that is a rather jagged pill to swallow for this device. But when you start thinking about, maybe you're a developer and you want to use Linux to code and do things like that, on the go with a phone that, you know, that can do that. They can boot into Ubuntu and do desktop things. That's pretty cool. The possibilities there between Android, Lineage OS, which if you remember CyanogenMod, Lineage OS is basically that kind of now, and Ubuntu all on your phone. Really cool. Not sure that this thing's going to sell that well, but I like it. I like weird phones. This is a weird phone. So it looks like YouTube on Android is going to be getting a pretty big overhaul. And some of these features, I think, are probably a long time coming. We've got the rundown here at AndroidCentral.com. This should be rolling out already. Should be rolling out literally as I'm filming this video. But one of the biggest things here is that you're going to be able to enter full screen by swiping up and then exiting by swiping down. Now, this is not a big deal to a lot of people, but some people don't actually leave auto rotate turned on. So when you rotate your phone, nothing happens on YouTube. You actually have to touch it, which brings up the menu, then hit the full screen button, and then there you go. Then when you want to go back, touch it again, hit the full screen button again. This is just going to simplify that whole thing. You're just going to swipe down and off you go. Swipe back up, swipe down, whatever you got to do, just swipe away and it's going to work well. They're also moving several things up to the overlay menu, like closed caption and autoplay are now on that overlay menu, which you can see here. So that should clean up. I think for me, down below the video where the comments and the suggestions are, it was getting really, really cluttered. So maybe this will clean that up a little bit. And the chapters feature, I think, is actually really cool. Someone who does occasionally post long videos, and videos like News Radar have chapters where I break up the different news stories. And for someone to be able to be on mobile and to just look at the chapter, see the news story they want to jump to, boom, they're in it, they're rolling. I think that's a really good feature. But so between the swiping to go in and out of full screen and the chapters feature, I think this is a really solid update, and honestly, I can't wait to have it. So guys, that is my news radar for the day. As always, be sure to check back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next edition of News Radar, the show where I talk about the tech, gaming, nerd culture news, whatever that might be on my mind for that day. So until the next episode, stay nerdy, my friends. If you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a Scary If Literal member. You'll get access to a whole bunch of emoticons to use with live streams and a shout out on an upcoming video. Thanks as always for your continued support.